do me a favor, subscribe to my channel.
Hey everyone, Kyle here from Poseidon's Pets. So today I'm in the backyard again, and what I got going on for you is I'm finally building my aquaponics system. So this is something that I've been wanting to build for the last, I don't know how many years, at least 10 years. I've had some small systems. You've seen my pothos in the 75 gallons. So I'm excited to be able to grow some vegetables with the system. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the 110 gallon pond that I just set up, and I'm gonna turn that into an aquaponics system. I'm gonna show you guys me building the system and then getting it up and running. I'm not gonna go into a lot of the details of aquaponics. There's people out there that can explain it a lot better than I do. I wanna give a big shout out to Rob Bob's Aquaponics and Backyard Farm, because I've been watching him for years, and I did use his design for my bell siphon. So I'm definitely excited for this build, and thank you guys for watching. So if you don't know what aquaponics is, I'm gonna give you a brief introduction into it. So aquaponics is the process of growing plants with the use of fish wastewater. So I have fish in this trough. I'm gonna plumb the water into these buckets. It's gonna have some grow media in there. And what's gonna happen is there's gonna be plants in here that are taking up the nutrients from the water to grow vegetables and food that you could actually eat. So a lot of people with aquaponics, they'll use fish that they can eat as well, like tilapia and salmon, and, well, not salmon, but trout and some other fish that are easy to grow in a system like this. So the first thing I needed to do was figure out, how am I gonna keep my small fish I have, which I'm not gonna be eating my fish. Most of you know that I'm plant-based, I don't eat meat. So I needed to find a way that my fish weren't gonna get sucked up into the pump. So to pump water up into these buckets, I needed a strong pump. And with that strong pump, I knew there was a chance that the fish were gonna get sucked up in there. And I didn't want that to happen. So check this out, this is what I came up with. So what I decided to do was put my water return pump in a bucket, have the pipe come out of here, and just have a simple coarse sponge over the bucket. So I'll have a hole cut for this sponge, and what'll happen is this will prevent from any fish getting in there. You know, and the fish aren't gonna die. They're not gonna get chopped up, so I'm excited about that. This took longer than I would like to admit for planning, but I finally figured it out, and this was the best design I could come up with. So if there's something else out there that you guys can think of real fast that, you know, that's gonna keep the fish safe, this was the easiest design I could come up with. And I did remember to turn the air conditioner off today, so hopefully we don't get interrupted by that. So the first thing I need to do is I need to get these plants out of here. So these plants are gonna take vital nutrients that the edible plants are gonna need to grow. So I'm gonna take these plants out of here, put them in one of the tubs that I already have, and then go from there. After I get the plants out, what I need to do is figure out how much pipe I need from the bottom of this trough to the top of these. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started on it, and then we'll be right back with you. Now that I got all the plants out, you may actually be able to see some of the fish. So one of my buddies, Micah, gave me a bunch of guppies. So there's tons of guppies in here. Yeah, this glare is awful, but you can see them. So these guys will reproduce and then create all kinds of nitrogen for the plants. So the pump I purchased is fairly large, and it does have a couple adapters that go with it. So what I found was just a 3/4 inch pipe fitting that fits over this, and you can also go all the way up to 1 1/4 inch. So this thing will pump some water. The only thing with this fitting, it's got a spot to put a vinyl hose on it. So what I need to do is, I gotta chop this piece off right here. Otherwise the compression fitting isn't gonna be able to put the pipe inside of it. All I'm gonna do, take my hacksaw to it, chop that bit off. The great thing is, if I mess this up, I got another one of these, came with 2, but it should be fairly simple. Wasn't too bad. You can tell, I'm a master at this. I do this all the time. I apologize for my sweaty nature. It rained last night. Here in Arizona, it's been 120 the last few days. So humidity right now is awful. And we're a dry state. We don't get a lot of rain. So this humidity, I'm not built for it. I'm a sweater as it is. This is awful. I chose the wrong day to do this. Why do I do this to myself? Now what I need to do is put that bucket I made in there, figure out how much height I need for the grow bed. Look at that guy. Thing's massive. That's gonna sit right in the bucket with that foam pad over the top. Couldn't think this through. Always have your tools handy. Going down. Watch out, fish. So I need to leave room for the T. So I'm just gonna mark a couple inches above the bucket. That should be good. Some of you may have noticed this. That's a metal handle. What are you doing, Kyle? That's gonna rust. You can't have that in there. I know. Gotta take our hacksaw again. Cut this guy out. There we go. No more metal handle. And I will say that I feel like this is pretty ingenious. So what I did was, I didn't have coarse sponge that would fit inside the bucket. So I took 2 sections and then some plastic thread almost, and I sewed it together to make it fit. So I could even slide the pipe through there, but more than likely I'm gonna cut another hole, because if I spread that, it's gonna get too wide. I don't want anything to get through this. And the unfortunate thing is, even with all this planning, all this preparing, I'm probably still gonna lose some fish to that pump. So I just hope that they're smart enough not to swim down in there, but we'll see. So now that we got our pipe, take our pipe cutters, cut on the mark. So now that we got that where we want it, we need to make the T and the control valves that are going to return the water back to each one of these. And this one doesn't have to be perfect, because I could always slide these in and out depending on what I need. So we're going to shoot for about the middle of each bed. Now I want to measure this in half. So we got about 44.5 inches. So we're going to do 22.25. So we're going to go in half one more time. About 22.25. Call it 11 inches. 11.125. Sure. 11.125. Call that good. I'm getting some sodium. If you don't like me in all my sweaty glory, that's okay. I may not be for everybody. Plumbing's fun. So I won't lie, plumbing is not fun. I spent a good hour in the plumbing section trying to marry up parts. Do you know how many slip and thread and elbows and T and 45s and 90s and why? Plumbers out there, I commend you. I tip my hat. This is awful. We should have roughly 4 identical legged pipes. Pretty equal. You shall not pass. Not too bad. So now that we have everything fitted to how we want it, I'm going to go ahead and mark these unions so they fit together the same way. And then I'm going to prime and glue them. So this pipe is going to have a lot of pressure running through it. So I don't want one of those pipes to blow off and then drain my pond into my backyard and possibly kill all my fish. So what I need to do is prime and glue these together so that way they're not going anywhere. Everything after this doesn't need to be glued because it's going to be low pressure, but I'm going to glue it anyways because like I said, I don't want that to happen. So I did some research and just the purple and orange primer and glue is all you need, and this is fish safe. So a lot of people, a lot of the reefing community use this, and you know, you let it cure for about 30 minutes and then it's good to go. A lot more people like to say that, you know, wait 3 to 4 hours, but if 30 minutes is all you need, then you're good. And of course, as always, do whatever makes you feel comfortable. Alright guys, so got this all glued together. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and let this all dry. And I'm not going to record for this because all I'm going to be doing is washing this rock. So I'm going to put it in buckets, run some water through it, get all the dust off. But what I'm using for my media bag or my media bed is red lava rock. So this was fairly inexpensive. It's lightweight. A lot of aquaponics, a lot of hydroponics, they use hydroton, which is expanded clay pebbles. And you know, it's a little bit on the pricey side, and I've already spent quite a bit on this, so I figured lava rock would be good. I may upgrade to the hydroton later. We'll see how it goes. Hey, stay tuned for the rest of the build. Be right back. All right guys, so real quick before I throw this all together, if you're not aware of how a bell siphon works, so you have your standpipe. This is the height of the water level. So as this fills up, water is going to cascade over this, and then we have our siphon or bell, which is going to create the siphon. So this will draw in water at the bottom, creating a siphon over that standpipe, draining this whole grow bed down into the fish tank. And then we have our shroud to keep out the media. So this shroud is just going to help to help keep out any of the rocks or anything that can get in there and plug it up. So now that we have our bell, we have our shroud, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put the pipes in, put the plumbing in, and then fill these guys up with the media. All right guys, so got everything in place. The foam filter's in place, bucket's full of water. These are a little bit longer than I wanted. I may trim it, we'll see. So now for the fun part, let's turn it on and see if this thing works. It's alive! So we got a problem. The water level became too low for the bucket. So this design that I made is not gonna work. That bucket's too tall. And I thought this might be an issue that I would run into. So I gotta get ready for work in 20 minutes. This is gonna have to be a 2-day build because I'm gonna have to figure out what to do with that. But we'll be right back. Hey everyone, so day 2 of the aquaponics build. You know, I had all day to think about this system and really what was going wrong with it and how I can fix it. So I've got some ideas and I feel really good about it and it's coming along nicely. So stay tuned and we'll get right to it. So yesterday I had gotten everything put together how I needed it. I got my bucket down there, sponge in place, pump in place, all the plumbing, bell siphons in place. The issue was these 20-gallon tubs, when they're getting full, the water level here goes below that bucket. So that's only 2 or 3 inches above or below the surface of the water. So once that water level dips, that bucket's no longer in the water. We're not sucking in any more water. So that's gonna be a problem. What I came up with is I'm just gonna cut the bucket. So I'm gonna cut the bucket in half. That's gonna give me less height from the surface of the water to the bottom of the pump. Like, I don't need that much bucket, it's just to hold the sponge in place. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut that. The other issue I have, I'll show you in a second. So the pump I bought is rated for 2,700 gallons per hour. If I turn this on full blast, it's just streaming out of there. So what you want with an aquaponics system you really only want a trickle. So if I was to leave, like, I could feel the pressure in this pipe. If I was to leave this closed as much as these are, well, not that much of a trickle. So if I was to leave these closed like this, that's gonna create a lot of back pressure on the pump. We're gonna have issues, the impeller could burn out. So I don't want that. So what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna cut the pipe right at the water level. I'm gonna add another one of these, so that way I can bleed off some of the pressure, but it's also gonna create surface agitation to create oxygen. So I'm gonna head to Lowe's real quick, get what I need. But before I do that, I wanna show you guys that it works. So to fix the bucket, I just raised the water level. I added more water, and that is able to run both of these together at the same time without getting that out of water. My only concern is with evaporation. Over time, that water level is gonna drop, and I don't wanna risk it, so I'm just gonna cut the bucket. But let's crank this up a bit so you guys can see how it works. I'm just getting it to fill the buckets real fast. So what's gonna happen is, once the water level reaches the top of this bell, it's gonna create that siphon, all the water's gonna pull out, and you're gonna see this tub start to drain. So we can see just hit the water level and the siphon begins. So if your flow is going into the tub faster than it can drain, your water level is not gonna go down. So you see the water level is not really going down, so we got to choke this up a bit. So we got to choke it to like a trickle, so that way the water level goes down. Now we got both of them going. So now what's going to happen is, you can see the water level here with that ring. It's going to start flowing down. So this whole bed will drain. The water will go through the media and creating airflow by pulling the oxygen down into the roots of the plants. And I know I won't need as much water once I get rocks in here, so evaporation probably isn't going to be too big of an issue, and having that bucket probably would be fine, but I want this to be fail-safe. I don't want any issues with it. Ow, I just stepped on lava rock. I don't want to have any problems with it, to where if I leave and come back, find all my fish dead, find the pump drained, I don't need any of that. So I'm gonna run to Lowe's, fix those things, and we'll be right back with you. All right, so got it disassembled again, got the bucket cut down. So took off quite a bit, probably 4 or 5 inches or so. So that way, you know, the water level can be a lot lower than it was before. Now my only issue is, I've been doing a little bit more research, and from what I was reading was, if I run this setup how it is and I restrict the flow here, like I said earlier, that's gonna put some strain on the motor. But if I put the pipe down here, that's not going to be what I need. I need to have this whole T be full force from the ends, and then have a T come off and reduce the flow from that. That way I'm not restricting any of the flow on the pump at all. So I pretty much got to rebuild this, but it's not a big deal. I'm gonna go ahead and get the parts for it and then start over. All right, I'm back from Lowe's. I got a plan. See how this goes. Did I say how much I hate plumbing? I hate plumbing. So what that's gonna do is allow for full force to come out each end and go back into the grow bed. And then I can restrict the flow here. So before I glue all this together, I'm gonna do a dry run, which I should have done earlier. And just see how everything goes. Let's plug her in and see what happens. That's what I was afraid of. It's just bypassing the T altogether.
Look how much current you're creating in there. Fish are going for a roller coaster ride.
Well, we're not going to have an issue with aeration. Well, shit. Back to the drawing board. This is why I make the mistakes for you.
There's probably like a whirlpool in there for them poor fish. They're all spinning in circles still. Poor fish.
They're fine.
I'm fine. They're dizzy.
Alright. Well, that didn't work. Alright, so I was having issues. It wouldn't flow at all. I had to install more ball valves. So this way I can turn the pressure just a little bit, and I'm still getting quite a bit of relief on the pump. And I restricted the flow enough that I could get this going. So I think this is gonna work. I'm gonna go ahead and glue these fixtures in place. It's 109 out here, and my phone keeps shutting off. So it's telling me phone is too hot, temperature too hot. Come back later. So I'm not gonna record me gluing the rest of this together, but I'll come back to you guys here in a little bit. All right, everyone, so day 3 of the aquaponics build. And it's been getting too hot out here. My phone's been shutting off, so if there's gaps in the footage, you know what happened. And I'm gonna do my best to check the camera every so often so I can tell when that's happening. And then I'll just run inside for a bit, let it cool down, and come back. But I got everything glued in place. Now I gotta put it back together, put the rocks in, put the plants in, and we're done. So enjoy. Alright, so we got everything installed. Now to just get the flow dialed in. Alright, so that seems to be pretty decent. It's not coming out too fast. The flow down below isn't a giant whirlpool for the fish. So I'm gonna go ahead and start putting all the rocks in here. And it is getting pretty warm, so we'll see if the camera shuts off. Yeah, even after rinsing, this stuff is gross. I'm gonna go ahead and rinse the rest of these rocks, add them to the bins, and then I'll be right back with you guys. All right, so 5 bags of lava rocks later. This stuff is ridiculously dirty, and trying to wash it off in the bucket I was using just creates all this dust, and then it turns to like mud, and it gets in the system. So I came up with an idea, and I hope it works. So check this out. So I'm gonna kind of make a sifter of sorts, and if I had a sifter, that would work great. So if you have a sifter, mesh sifter, rinse out the rocks, that's gonna be perfect for you. But all I need is to get some of that sediment out. So we're gonna take our drill, make our own sifter. So I hope now that'll allow for that sediment to get out of there and give me a cleaner rock, so I'm not dirtying up the system. All right, guys, these peppers and tomatoes better be worth it, because it is hot. There's a lot of work. I'm tired. So I have rinsed all of the lava rock. That contraption I made, the sifter, definitely worked so much easier than what I was doing before. So check this out. So I've got all the lava rock in there. It's above the water line, so we'll be able to plant our plants. Got it going to about a trickle. Got lots of guppies in there. Picked about 30 more guppies up today, so gonna have tons of fish. Siphons are running pretty good. Now I just need to rinse the dirt off of the plants and get them planted. So when I was getting the rest of my supplies for the aquaponics, I picked up a few plants. I've got a big Bertha bell pepper, a sweet banana yellow pepper, a hybrid tomato, which these are heat tolerant, so that's nice, and then a phoenix, which is also a heat tolerant, so these are gonna do well out here. And you can see it's starting to get a little crispy because I haven't been watering these very well, but in the system, they're gonna do great. And like I said, now what I gotta do is I gotta get all the dirt off those plants and just have some bare roots. So we'll start with the phoenix. So I got a majority of the dirt off. Now what I'm gonna do is hit it with the hose and rinse the rest off. See, we got majority of the organic matter off. Nice root system, so this guy's ready. Now that you get the idea of what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go ahead and do the other 4 plants, and then I'll be back when I'm planting them. All right, so we got the plants all de-dirted. I'm gonna plug them into the system now, and this will be the beginning of my aquaponics. Now we got the tomatoes in place. Time to plant the peppers. Time to plant the peppers. I'm getting delirious. It is hot as heck out here. I don't say hot as balls, but hot as heck. Is that more politically correct? I'm losing it, guys. All right, guys, it's all done. So now all we have to do is let the system do its thing. Hopefully I planted the plants deep enough. It was kind of hard to dig in that lava rock. That's probably why you use Hydroton. So many guppies. We did it. Hey, you guys, thank you so much for watching. You know, if you stuck it out this long, you're a trooper and you truly do love me, and I appreciate it. Hey, stay tuned to the end. I'm gonna do a update video or a update clip of about 1 week after I installed everything, so you can see how it's all doing. And you know, I did have a lot of struggles with this build, and this is gonna be kind of a long video, so thanks again for watching. And as always, if you love me, you love my fish, you love my plants, hit that subscribe button. That way you get notified of all my future content. So thank you guys so much for watching, and enjoy the rest of your day. But stay tuned for that clip 1 week from now. Future Kyle's gonna talk to you now. I'm done. I need a beer. It's hot. Future Kyle here. So just wanted to give you guys a quick update on the aquaponics and how it's been doing this week. And I'm pretty surprised with the results. So check it out. So the fish have been doing well. They're getting acclimated to the pond and the temperatures out here. I've actually got some cherry shrimp. You can see them on the filter down there, and a bunch of guppies. I have lost a few of the guppies, which I'm sad about, but you know, with the temperatures, how hot they are, I need to get some sunshade on this to kind of block that heat so this isn't getting too hot. But the plants are doing really well. I do have some sun damage, and the leaves are a little fragile, so it does seem like they're not really getting enough water. But in a system like this, I really think it's just temperature, because there's no way they're not getting enough water. But I've got all kinds of new growth on the tomatoes, even some flowers, and what looks like the start of a tomato. So they're doing good. And then the peppers are doing really good. Lots of new growth. Don't really see any flowers yet, but they look healthy. Do have some brown spots. I checked the water parameters yesterday, and I'm showing 0 ammonia, 0 nitrites, so everything is cycled. I'm not having any ammonia spikes. My nitrates are sitting at around 10 to 20 parts per million, so you know, that's pretty good. I need to do some more research into how much nitrates you really want in the system, because you don't want too much because of the fish, and having too much nitrates with flowering plants like these can cause the flowers to fall off. So if you're giving too much nitrogen, you'll notice the flowers start to fall off. So a system like this it really does have kind of a temperamental side to it, to where you got to balance everything out. But I'll get it dialed in, I'll do my research, and I'm really excited for it. So I know this video was long, and I know I missed my Tuesday 8 a.m. upload, so I apologize to all my loyal viewers. But you know, I didn't want to break this video up into 2 parts. I wanted it to be a whole single video. That way, you know, everything's in there, all the content. So thank you guys so much for watching, and enjoy the rest of your day.